Rich people don't just work harder, they program themselves to win. They understand that the real battle isn't fought in the marketplace or the boardroom. It's fought in the mind. Wealth is not a byproduct of sheer effort alone, but the outcome of intentional mental architecture. If you want to transform your life, if you want to elevate your status and your finances, you must stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like a programmer. This is the invisible game, the programming of belief, attitude, focus, and habits that construct your reality long before you touch a dollar. You have to rewrite the code of your mind to break free from the cycles that have kept you stuck, limited, and small. The question is simple. Are you willing to become the architect of your own future? Attitude is your operating system. It governs how you interpret every event, every challenge, every opportunity. A poor attitude processes life as a series of obstacles. A wealthy attitude sees problems as puzzles to solve, challenges as chances to grow. Your attitude is not fixed, it is programmable. You can upload optimism, resilience, and purpose to replace doubt, fear, and resignation. When you shift your attitude, you shift your life. The world doesn't change overnight, but your perspective does, and that creates a ripple effect that turns into momentum. Momentum that drives success, no matter how hostile the external environment becomes. Communication is the language of your programming. What you say to yourself, the stories you repeat, the words you use, these are the commands you issue to your subconscious. Poor communication with yourself is like bad code full of bugs that crash your confidence and stall your progress. Rich people program their internal dialogue with clarity, power, and expectation. They speak to their future selves with respect and demand. Every affirmation, every declaration, every thought is a line of code that instructs their mind to behave as a winner. If you want to change your output, first change your input. Be careful what you say to yourself, because you are always listening. Self-discipline is the processor that executes your programs. Without it, your best intentions remain ideas lost in the cloud of distraction and fatigue. Discipline is not punishment. It is the reliable execution of your highest code. It is waking up and doing the work, even when motivation is low. It is choosing progress over pleasure in every moment of choice. The wealthy master this discipline to automate success. Their routines become their firmware. Firm, unbreakable, predictable. To program your mind for wealth, you must write discipline into every line of your day, no matter how small or invisible it seems. Mindset is the architecture of your mental software. It defines your limits or your launch pads. Most people's mindsets are inherited, patched together from fear, scarcity, and old stories. But the wealthy build theirs from principles, abundance, and vision. Your mindset determines the size of the problems you tackle and the solutions you accept. To program a wealthy mindset, you must challenge every limiting belief, every I can't, every it's impossible. Replace them with I will. I can learn. I am worthy. Mindset is not a switch you flip. It's a structure you construct. Brick by brick. Thought by thought. Focus is the bandwidth of your programming. In a world full of noise, attention is the scarcest resource. Poor minds scatter their focus on every distraction, diluting their power. Rich minds program themselves to focus on what matters relentlessly. They prioritize tasks that yield exponential returns and eliminate everything else. To reprogram your focus, you must train your attention like a muscle, intentionally, persistently, and without apology. The mind that masters focus masters wealth, because wealth flows where attention goes. Emotional regulation is the firewall that protects your code from corruption. Emotions are powerful, but volatile. The untrained mind lets fear, doubt, and frustration crash the system, causing it to freeze, retreat, or fail. Wealthy minds install emotional firewalls. They feel the emotions, acknowledge them, but refuse to act out of them. They program responses, not reactions. They understand that emotions are data, not commands. Learning to regulate emotions is learning to protect your mental code from glitches that sabotage your success. Learning is the continuous debugging and upgrading of your system. The wealthy never stop upgrading their software. They read, study, listen, and surround themselves with minds that challenge and expand theirs. Every book, every mentor, every failure is a patch to fix a vulnerability or a feature upgrade that improves performance. To program yourself rich, you must commit to relentless learning. You must become a student of life, constantly evolving, refining, and adapting. Stagnation is a fatal error in the wealth algorithm. Now, imagine what happens when all these components align. When your attitude, communication, discipline, mindset, focus, emotional control, and learning work in harmony, you become unstoppable. You become a machine built for success, optimized for wealth, programmed for abundance. Your daily actions become automatic reflections of your highest self. You no longer chase money, you attract it. You don't scramble for opportunities, they come to you. Your life becomes a system of value creation, growth, and legacy building. This is not fantasy. This is the real programming of the rich. You are at a crossroads. You can continue running outdated programs of scarcity, fear, and distraction, or you can rewrite your code. You can choose to work harder with the same mindset and remain stuck, or you can work smarter by reprogramming your mind to act, think, and grow like the wealthy. The choice is yours. But remember, wealth is a mind game, and the best players don't just work. They program themselves for victory. So start coding today. Start controlling your inputs. Start running the scripts that lead to your success. Because until you do, you will keep looping in the old patterns, never unlocking the abundance you deserve. This is your call to action. Become the programmer of your mind, the architect of your destiny, the engineer of your wealth. Stop working blindly and start working intentionally. Design your mental software with purpose and watch your life upgrade beyond what you thought possible. The rich don't just work harder, they program smarter. It's time you do the same. Then listen closely, because this programming is not a one-time fix. It is a continuous process of rewiring and upgrading your mental operating system. The mind, like any complex machine, needs constant attention maintenance, debugging, and enhancements. You must become vigilant, a master coder of your own thoughts, behaviors, and habits. The rich understand that success is not a destination reached by a single sprint, but a marathon, sustained by daily micro-adjustments. They program their routines with precision, eliminate corrupt code, those toxic beliefs and habits that drain energy, and install new protocols that support their vision of abundance. Your thoughts are the source code of your reality. What you think, you become. But most people unknowingly allow malware to infect their thinking, fear, doubt, envy, procrastination, and negativity. These bugs slow down your progress, corrupt your decisions, and crash your dreams. The first step in programming wealth is debugging your mind. Identify the limiting beliefs that run in loops behind the scenes, silently sabotaging your efforts. Replace "I'm not good enough" with "I am capable and learning every day." Swap "I'm too old" for "It's never too late to start." Reprogram those self-imposed limitations with empowering statements. And watch how your system responds with new opportunities and confidence. Data input matters. What you feed your mind is the foundation of your programming. Consume ideas, stories, and lessons that elevate your thinking. Seek out mentors who embody the mindset you want to cultivate. Read books that challenge and expand your perspectives. Listen to podcasts and talks that inspire action and growth. Be cautious of the content that drains you, that encourages doubt or complacency. Remember, garbage in, garbage out. Your mental diet determines your cognitive performance and ultimately your capacity to generate wealth. Choose wisely what you allow into your mental environment. Routine is the scheduler that runs your programs consistently. The rich don't rely on fleeting motivation, they build systems that run regardless of mood or circumstance. Set clear schedules for learning, working, resting, and reflecting. Automate your habits so that success becomes your default state. The repeated execution of well-designed routines creates compound effects that multiply your results over time. Discipline is the backbone of these routines. It's the commitment to run your program tasks daily, even when distractions scream for your attention. Without a disciplined scheduler, even the best code remains dormant. Feedback loops are your debugging tools. Wealth creation is not a straight line, but an iterative process. Regularly review your progress, analyze failures without judgment, and adjust your strategies accordingly. The rich are relentless learners, constantly tweaking their mental models and action plans based on real-world results. They don't fear failure. They embrace it as critical data for refinement. Develop a feedback system that allows you to track your goals, measure your actions, and pivot when necessary. This keeps your programming efficient and effective, steering you away from costly errors and towards high-impact behaviors. Focus is the bandwidth of your system. In the modern age, distractions are endless and attention is fragmented. The ability to concentrate deeply on high-value tasks is a competitive advantage that the wealthy cultivate fiercely. Train your mind to resist interruptions, to prioritize important work, and to sustain effort over long periods. Think of focus as a narrowing lens that magnifies your energy where it counts most. Without focused execution, your programming dissipates and progress stalls. Guard your attention like the most precious resource it is. Resilience is the firewall that protects your system from external attacks. The path to wealth is littered with setbacks, criticism, and doubt from others and from within. Resilience is the ability to absorb these blows, recover quickly, and continue executing your programs without loss of integrity. It requires emotional regulation, mental toughness, and an unwavering belief in your vision. The wealthy are not immune to failure. They simply refuse to be defined or defeated by it. Cultivate your resilience by reframing challenges as growth opportunities and viewing obstacles as invitations to innovate. Visualization is the simulation software of your mind. Before anything materializes, it must be conceived vividly and repeatedly in your imagination. The rich use visualization to program their goals with emotional intensity and clarity. They create mental movies of success, rehearsing outcomes and behaviors until they become automatic. This primes the brain for achievement, aligning subconscious drives with conscious goals. To harness visualization, spend time daily imagining your ideal life in full sensory detail. What you see, hear, feel, and even smell. This immersive practice rewires your brain toward the reality you desire. Gratitude is the positive feedback loop that strengthens your programming. Recognizing and appreciating what you have, even in small amounts, rewires your mind to focus on abundance rather than scarcity. Gratitude increases mental clarity, emotional stability, and creative problem solving. It shifts your energy toward opportunity and away from complaint. Rich minds practice gratitude as a daily ritual, reinforcing their connection to wealth's true source. An appreciative and open mind. Incorporate gratitude into your mental programming to amplify your capacity for growth. Finally, generosity is the protocol for wealth expansion. Wealth stagnates when hoarded. It multiplies when shared. The wealthy understand that money is energy in motion. Giving, whether time, knowledge, or resources, creates reciprocal flows that open new channels of opportunity. Generosity builds networks of trust, goodwill, and collaboration, which are critical assets in any wealth-building endeavor. Program yourself to give abundantly without expectation, and you will receive returns beyond measure. This mindset transcends transactional thinking and embraces a legacy of impact. When you integrate these principles, attitude as your OS, communication as your code, discipline as your processor, mindset as your architecture, focus as your bandwidth, resilience as your firewall, visualization as your simulation, gratitude as your positive loop, and generosity as your expansion protocol, you become a master programmer of your life. You no longer react to circumstances. You design outcomes. You no longer hope for luck. You engineer success. You don't merely work, you build a mental machine so powerful that wealth flows naturally to you. Remember, wealth is not a place or a thing. It is a state of mind programmed through intention, action, and relentless refinement. You are the coder of your destiny. Every thought, every choice, every habit is a line of code in the program of your life. If you continue running outdated, limiting scripts, expect the same results. But if you dare to debug, rewrite, and optimize your mental software, you will unlock levels of wealth and fulfillment you never imagined possible. It starts now. Program yourself rich. Program yourself powerful. Program yourself free. The game is mental, and those who master it are the true victors. Play the game well. The mind is the ultimate command center, the source of all wealth, the birthplace of every fortune and every failure. Rich people don't work harder in the conventional sense. They work smarter, by designing and refining their mental programs until success becomes inevitable. This programming is invisible but powerful. It controls the subconscious impulses that direct your decisions, the habits that shape your days, and the focus that determines your destiny. To become rich, you must step into the role of a master programmer, taking full control of your inner operating system and updating it to reflect the greatness you seek. This is no small task. It requires fierce self-awareness and brutal honesty. It demands that you scrutinize every thought, every belief, every habitual behavior. You must identify the faulty codes, the fears that freeze you, the excuses that paralyze you, the comfort zones that cage you. These mental viruses spread silently, eating away at your potential. yet they are completely removable with the right interventions. Rich minds perform regular mental audits. They debug their thinking relentlessly, removing limiting patterns and installing empowering beliefs that support their highest goals. This process is ongoing, a lifetime commitment to growth and evolution. Your inner dialogue is your primary programming language. What you say to yourself sets the foundation for every action you take. Negative self-talk is like a corrupted code that crashes your system before it even starts. If you constantly tell yourself, "I can't," "I'm not good enough," this will never work. Your brain will learn to obey those commands, triggering fear, hesitation, and failure. On the other hand, when you program yourself with affirmations rooted in reality and confidence, "I am capable," "I learn and improve daily," every setback is a setup for a comeback. You build a mental framework that supports perseverance, creativity, and success. Change your language. Change your life. Discipline is the routine processor that executes your commands day in and day out, whether you feel like it or not. It turns intention into reality by enforcing the consistent execution of your goals. Rich people don't wait for motivation. They build habits that function automatically. They schedule their learning, work, rest, and reflection with military precision. This automation frees up mental bandwidth for strategic thinking and creativity, preventing burnout and procrastination. Without discipline, even the best programming is useless because the code never runs. Develop routines that enforce your priorities, so your system runs smoothly and efficiently without constant conscious effort. Focus is the memory allocation of your mental system. It determines how much of your cognitive energy is dedicated to what matters most. In today's world, focus is fragmented by endless distractions, social media, news, noise that drain your energy and scatter your attention. Rich minds build strong focus muscles by deliberately managing their environment, blocking out distractions, and dedicating undivided time to high-impact tasks. They prioritize deeply, saying no to anything that does not serve their vision. To upgrade your programming, you must practice deep work, cultivate patience with boredom, and defend your attention fiercely. What you focus on expands, so choose wisely. Emotional regulation is the security protocol that protects your system from crashing. Wealth creation inevitably involves setbacks, criticism, and uncertainty. Without emotional control, these challenges trigger stress responses that derail your focus and decision-making. Rich people develop emotional intelligence. They feel deeply but respond strategically. They do not act on impulse or fear, but maintain composure and clarity under pressure. This resilience is a skill developed through mindfulness, reflection, and experience. By installing strong emotional firewalls, you prevent negative emotions from corrupting your mental processes and keep your system running optimally. Continuous learning is the software update that keeps your system competitive and adaptive. The wealthy never stop acquiring knowledge, skills, and perspectives. They read voraciously, seek mentors, attend seminars, and learn from failures. Learning is how you patch vulnerabilities in your thinking and add new capabilities. The rich understand that the world changes fast, and only those who evolve mentally can maintain and grow their wealth. To program yourself for abundance, cultivate a lifelong hunger for growth, curiosity, and self-improvement. Your brain is the most valuable asset. Invest in it daily. Visualization is the simulation environment where your brain rehearses success before it happens. The richest minds use visualization to create vivid mental experiences of their goals, achieve the sights, sounds, feelings, and emotions associated with success. This practice trains the subconscious to align with conscious intentions, strengthening motivation and confidence. Regular visualization primes your brain for opportunity recognition and creative problem solving. To program this into your mind, spend time daily imagining your ideal life in rich detail, engaging all your senses. This immersive mental rehearsal accelerates the path from desire to reality. Gratitude functions as a positive feedback loop that rewires your mental network toward abundance. Recognizing and appreciating what you already have, regardless of size, shifts your brain's focus from scarcity to plenty. This mental shift reduces anxiety, improves decision-making, and fosters creativity. Rich people practice gratitude as a daily ritual, reinforcing their awareness of value in all aspects of life, relationships, health, knowledge, and money. To program gratitude, cultivate a habit of journaling or reflecting on daily blessings, which amplifies your capacity to attract and create wealth. Generosity is the network protocol that expands your wealth ecosystem. Money and value flow most freely through systems that give as much as they receive. Wealth stagnates when hoarded. It grows when shared. The rich understand that giving, whether time, money, mentorship, or knowledge, builds trust, reputation, and reciprocal opportunities. Generosity creates social capital, a vital resource for long-term success. Programming generosity into your life means adopting an abundance mindset that trusts in the flow of giving and receiving. It turns wealth into a force for positive impact beyond yourself. When all these elements, attitude as your OS, communication as your code, discipline as your processor, mindset as your architecture, focus as your bandwidth, emotional control as your security, learning as your update system, visualization as your simulation, gratitude as your feedback loop, and generosity as your network protocol work together, you become an unstoppable force. You transcend mere work and become a deliberate programmer of your destiny. Success no longer feels random or accidental. It becomes a natural byproduct of your intentional design. This is the game of wealth, the ultimate mind game. The richest people don't just work harder, they program smarter. They don't leave their futures to chance. They design their mental software to win. They don't hope for luck. They build systems of thought and action that attract opportunity like a magnet. To win this game, you must become a master coder of your mind, relentlessly refining your mental scripts until your life upgrades beyond your wildest dreams. You are the architect of your mind, the coder of your destiny. Every thought is a line of code. Every habit, a function. Every belief, a framework. If you run the same old outdated software of doubt, fear, and scarcity, expect the same results. But if you debug, rewrite, and optimize your inner system, you unlock new dimensions of wealth and freedom. Start now. Program yourself rich. Program yourself powerful. Program yourself free. The mind is the battleground. The winner is the one who codes best. Play the game well. To truly master this game, you must embrace the power of repetition, the relentless refinement of your mental code until it becomes second nature. Rich people understand that greatness is not a single leap, but 1,000 small steps, each one programmed and executed without fail. They don't rely on bursts of motivation or fleeting inspiration. Instead, they build systems of consistency that keep their inner machine running smoothly, even on the hardest days. This habitual excellence compounds over time, creating an unstoppable momentum that propels them forward when others stall. The question is, are you willing to put in the daily work to reprogram your mind for this level of success? Your environment acts like an external hard drive, storing data and influencing your internal programming. Surround yourself with influences that enhance your code, people who challenge you, resources that educate you, experiences that expand you. Avoid viruses, negative people, toxic media, and draining distractions that corrupt your mindset and slow your progress. The wealthy curate their environments meticulously because they know the quality of input directly affects the output. To become rich in mind and wealth, you must engineer your surroundings to support your highest programming. Your self-image is the core framework from which all your programs run. If you see yourself as someone limited, unworthy, or incapable, no amount of external work will sustain real wealth. The rich program a self-image rooted in possibility, resilience, and growth. They visualize themselves as successful before the external evidence appears and live daily in alignment with that identity. To rewrite your code, start by upgrading your self-concept. Affirm your worth, claim your power, and act in ways that honor your highest vision of yourself. This shift alone can break through barriers you once thought permanent. The subconscious mind is the processor running your mental programs behind the scenes, executing commands without conscious effort. Most people run on autopilot, replaying outdated scripts that reinforce poverty and limitation. Rich people consciously reprogram their subconscious by repeatedly feeding it new ideas, beliefs, and emotions aligned with wealth and abundance. Techniques like visualization, affirmations, and meditation are not just fluff, they are powerful tools to overwrite destructive coding. To ascend in this game, commit daily to programming your subconscious mind with clarity, purpose, and belief. Decision-making algorithms determine how quickly and effectively you act on opportunities. Hesitation, procrastination, and fear introduce latency in your mental systems that delay or prevent execution. Rich minds develop decisive algorithms that prioritize action, embrace risk, and learn from feedback. They understand that failure is not a fatal error, but valuable data that improves their code. To upgrade your mental software, cultivate decisiveness and trust in your capacity to course correct. Speed and agility in decision-making separate the wealthy from the stagnant. Gratitude and generosity function as positive feedback mechanisms in your wealth programming. Gratitude rewires your neural pathways to notice abundance rather than lack, enhancing creativity and reducing stress. Generosity creates social networks and reciprocal flows of value that open new doors and opportunities. These practices ensure your mental ecosystem remains fertile and expansive, enabling wealth to multiply naturally. Integrate daily gratitude and acts of giving into your programming to sustain and grow your success. Energy management is the hardware maintenance that keeps your mental processor running optimally. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, and mental rest are non-negotiable components of the wealthy mindset. Without proper energy, your mind's capacity diminishes, focus fragments, and resilience wanes. Rich people treat their bodies like high-performance machines, ensuring they are fueled, repaired, and tuned regularly. To reprogram your mind for wealth, prioritize your physical and mental energy like a CEO managing critical infrastructure. Your vision is the blueprint that guides your programming efforts. Without a clear, compelling vision, mental resources scatter and execution falters. The rich create detailed mental models of their future, what success looks like, feels like, sounds like, and use this vision to align daily actions. This vision acts as a compass, directing your energy and focus toward meaningful goals. To elevate your wealth programming, craft a vivid and emotionally charged vision that ignites your purpose and sustains your drive. As you build this mental machine of wealth, understand that setbacks are not bugs, they are features. They provide essential debugging data that helps refine your system for greater performance. Embrace failure as an integral part of growth. Analyze it without shame and adjust your programming accordingly. The rich are relentless iterators, continuously improving their mindset and strategies based on real-world feedback. This adaptive approach to wealth creation ensures you stay resilient and relevant amid changing conditions. Ultimately, wealth is the natural output of a well-designed, consistently executed, and continuously improved mental program. When your thoughts, beliefs, habits, and actions align with abundance and growth, money, opportunities, and freedom inevitably follow. This is the secret the rich understand and the poor ignore. The game is not about working harder, it's about programming smarter. The real work is internal, rewiring your mind, optimizing your habits, and mastering your focus. This is where the battle is won or lost. You hold the keyboard, you write the code, you control the system. Your future depends on the quality of your programming starting right now. Choose to debug your fears, rewrite your beliefs, and install new protocols for success. Commit to daily updates, maintenance, and upgrades that keep your mind running at peak performance. The game of wealth is complex but beatable if you master the software. Rich people don't just work, they program. And if you want to join their ranks, you must become a master coder of your own destiny. Play your code with precision, upgrade relentlessly, and watch your life transform beyond limits. Your mind is the ultimate factory where wealth is built piece by piece, thought by thought. Rich people are the engineers of their own success, carefully designing their mental blueprints to shape the future they desire. They know that without a well-programmed mind, no amount of hard work will produce lasting wealth. To program yourself for success, you must first become fluent in the language of your own thoughts. You must speak to yourself with clarity and purpose, commanding your subconscious to align with your highest vision. Start by clearing out the mental clutter, those outdated beliefs and toxic narratives that weigh you down like dead code in a complex program. Replace "I'm not enough" with "I am worthy of success." Swap "I can't do this" with "I can learn and adapt." These simple but profound rewrites reboot your mental system, freeing you to operate at a higher level. Every affirmation, every empowering thought you repeat is a line of code that strengthens your mental software. But programming is not a one-time act. It is a daily discipline. The rich commit to continuous upgrades, constantly refining their mindset, habits, and focus. They treat their mental health like a high-performance machine, regularly maintained, debugged, and optimized. Reading, learning, reflecting, and meditating are part of their routine. They seek out challenges as opportunities to test and improve their system, knowing that every obstacle is a chance to evolve. Focus is the bandwidth through which your programming flows into reality. Without deep, undistracted focus, even the best ideas fail to materialize. The rich guard their attention zealously, cutting out distractions that fragment their energy. They structure their day around blocks of concentrated work and deliberate rest, creating cycles that sustain peak performance. To reprogram your mind, practice cultivating focus through intentional habits, limit multitasking, silence noise, and prioritize high-impact activities. Emotional intelligence acts as the firewall protecting your mental operating system from crashing under stress. Wealth creation inevitably involves setbacks, criticism, and uncertainty. Rich minds develop resilience by learning to observe their emotions without being controlled by them. They pause before reacting, choose responses over impulses, and maintain clarity under pressure. This emotional regulation ensures that negative feelings do not corrupt their programming or derail their progress. Generosity is the network protocol that expands your wealth ecosystem beyond yourself. The wealthy know that giving creates flows of energy and value that return multiplied. Whether through mentorship, philanthropy, or collaboration, generosity builds trust and opens new opportunities. It keeps your mental programming in alignment with abundance rather than scarcity. By practicing generosity, you not only enrich others, but also reinforce your own mindset for sustainable success. Visualization is the simulation that primes your brain for success. Rich people use vivid mental imagery to rehearse their goals and the emotions associated with achieving them. This mental practice activates neural pathways that enhance motivation, creativity, and confidence. Incorporate visualization into your daily programming by imagining your ideal outcomes with sensory richness and emotional intensity. This prepares your mind to recognize opportunities and execute effectively. Discipline is the command center that runs your programs consistently, regardless of fluctuating motivation or external circumstances. The wealthy design routines that automate success, turning intentional actions into habits that operate beneath conscious effort. This reliability and execution builds compound results over time. Develop your discipline by setting clear priorities, establishing rituals, and holding yourself accountable even when it's hard. Continuous learning is the software update that keeps your mind agile and adaptive. The rich commit to lifelong education, embracing curiosity and humility. They absorb lessons from books, mentors, failures, and successes alike. This ongoing learning equips them to navigate change and innovate, ensuring their mental programming stays relevant and powerful. Dedicate yourself to daily learning as a fundamental part of your wealth-building code. Your self-image is the root directory from which all programs execute. If you hold a limited or negative self-image, your programs will operate under constraints. The wealthy cultivate a robust self-image rooted in capability, resilience, and abundance. They align their identity with their aspirations, living daily in congruence with their desired future selves. To elevate your mental programming, upgrade your self-image through positive reinforcement, role modeling, and consistent action that reflects your highest values. Time management is the memory allocation that maximizes your processing power. The rich allocate time like capital, investing it in activities that generate exponential returns. They avoid time leaks, unproductive meetings, aimless scrolling, meaningless conversations that drain cognitive resources. Program your schedule with intention, protect your most valuable time slots, and batch similar tasks to maximize efficiency. Remember, the richest asset you own is your time. Failure is not a system crash, it is a diagnostic report. Wealthy minds interpret setbacks as invaluable feedback, using them to debug their approach and enhance their programming. They cultivate a growth mindset that welcomes challenges and persists through difficulty. By reframing failure as data rather than defeat, you can maintain momentum and continuously improve your mental algorithms for success. At its core, wealth is a state of mind shaped by the quality of your programming. It is not about luck or circumstance, but about deliberate mental design and execution. You must become the programmer, writing code that generates abundance, resilience, clarity, and purpose. This requires courage to dismantle limiting beliefs, discipline to maintain new habits, and wisdom to adapt your system over time. Today is the day to take control of your internal operating system. Begin rewriting your mental code with intention. Replace fear with faith, scarcity with abundance, confusion with clarity, and procrastination with action. Commit to daily programming sessions through positive self-talk, disciplined routines, focused learning, and emotional regulation. As you build and refine your mental software, you will unlock doors to wealth previously closed. The game of wealth is not won by working harder alone. It is won by working smarter, by becoming a master programmer of your own mind. Design your thoughts, install empowering beliefs, automate productive habits, and maintain relentless focus. Your future self is waiting for the upgrade you initiate now. Program yourself rich. Program yourself free. Program yourself powerful. The mind is the ultimate game board, and only the best coders win. Every great achievement in history started as a thought, a spark of possibility encoded in the mind of someone brave enough to dream beyond their circumstances. Wealth is no different. It begins not with money in your hand, but with a mental blueprint so vivid, so compelling that it pulls your actions toward it like gravity. Rich people live inside this blueprint daily. Their minds are factories of vision, strategy, and unwavering belief. They engineer their realities by programming their thoughts, their emotions, and their habits until success is no longer a question, but a certainty. You must recognize that your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. Left unchecked, they build walls that confine you. When intentionally shaped, they build bridges that carry you to new heights. The difference lies in the programming. What you feed your mind repeatedly becomes your operating system. Feed it fear, doubt, and scarcity, and you code yourself into poverty. Feed it courage, clarity, and abundance, and you code yourself into wealth. This is not just motivational talk. It is neuroscience and psychology applied. Your brain changes based on your experiences and thoughts, a process called neuroplasticity. Harness it. Be deliberate. Program with intention. The mental programs that lead to wealth require a foundation of discipline. Discipline is the code executor, ensuring your commands translate into consistent action regardless of your feelings. It is the mechanism by which dreams are realized through daily effort. Without discipline, brilliant ideas remain idle and noble intentions dissolve. To program wealth, you must build routines that run on autopilot, habits so ingrained they operate without conscious effort, freeing your mind to innovate and strategize. Establish rituals that reinforce your goals and guard them as fiercely as a king guards his throne. Focus is the resource allocator within your programming. In a world awash with distractions, the ability to direct your attention toward high-value tasks determines your trajectory. Rich minds are ruthless about protecting their focus, pruning distractions that fragment their mental energy. They cultivate deep work sessions, periods of undisturbed concentration that amplify productivity and creativity. To upgrade your mental software, train your focus daily. Limit multitasking. Create environments that foster attention. Use tools and techniques that keep your mind on the prize. Emotional mastery functions as a protective firewall against mental breakdowns. The path to wealth is strewn with challenges that test your resolve. Those who succumb to negative emotions sabotage their own programming through impulsive decisions and loss of clarity. Wealthy individuals develop emotional intelligence, learning to experience feelings without becoming enslaved by them. They respond rather than react, maintaining equanimity amid chaos. Cultivate this resilience through mindfulness practices, reflection, and strategic pauses. Protect your mental code from corruption by emotional volatility. Continuous learning is the upgrade mechanism that keeps your programming current and competitive. The wealthy never cease to evolve. They commit to lifelong education, absorbing knowledge from books, mentors, experiences, and failures. This constant updating enables them to adapt, innovate, and maintain an edge in a rapidly changing world. To program wealth into your life, become a dedicated student of growth. Seek knowledge relentlessly and apply it thoughtfully, integrating lessons into your evolving mental code. Visualization is the simulation environment where your mind rehearses success. The richest minds engage their senses and emotions to create vivid mental images of their goals realized. This process activates neural pathways that align subconscious drives with conscious intentions, boosting motivation and creativity. Develop this skill by daily imagining your ideal outcomes with rich sensory detail, feeling the emotions of achievement, and embedding these experiences into your mental software. Gratitude functions as a positive feedback loop that strengthens your programming. Recognizing and appreciating your current blessings rewires your brain to focus on abundance rather than lack. This shift reduces anxiety, enhances creativity, and fosters a mindset fertile for growth. Successful individuals practice gratitude as a habitual part of their routine, reinforcing their connection to wealth's true source, an appreciative and open mind. Incorporate daily gratitude exercises to amplify your capacity for success. Generosity acts as the expansion protocol of your wealth ecosystem. Money and value thrive when circulated. The wealthy understand that giving, whether knowledge, resources, or time, builds trust, goodwill, and reciprocal opportunities. This flow creates social capital that fuels sustained growth. Programming generosity means adopting an abundance mindset that trusts in the cycle of giving and receiving, creating a legacy that transcends personal gain. Your self-image is the root directory from which all mental programs execute. If you see yourself as limited or unworthy, your programs will operate under constraints. Wealthy individuals cultivate a robust self-image rooted in capability, resilience, and abundance. They align their identity with their aspirations, living daily in congruence with their highest self. To elevate your programming, upgrade your self-concept through positive reinforcement, role models, and actions that reflect your true potential. Time management is the memory allocation optimizing your mental performance. The wealthy allocate time like capital, investing it in activities with exponential returns. They avoid time leaks, unproductive tasks, and distractions that drain cognitive resources. Program your schedule intentionally, protect your prime hours, and batch similar tasks to maximize efficiency. Time is your most valuable asset. Invest it wisely. Failure is not a system crash, but a diagnostic tool. Wealthy minds interpret setbacks as critical feedback, using them to debug their approach and enhance programming. They cultivate a growth mindset that welcomes challenges and persists despite difficulty. Reframe failure as data, maintain momentum, and continuously improve your algorithms for success. In the end, wealth is the output of a well-designed, consistently executed, and continuously refined mental program. When your thoughts, beliefs, habits, and actions align with growth and abundance, money, opportunities, and freedom follow naturally. This is the secret the rich understand and the poor overlook. The game is mental. The richest players program themselves for victory. You are the programmer of your destiny. Every thought, choice, and habit is a line of code in your life software. Run outdated scripts. Get outdated results. Debug and upgrade your mind. Unlock new levels of wealth. Start now. Program yourself rich. Program yourself powerful. Program yourself free. The mind is the ultimate game board. Only the best coders win. Play your code well.